What if I told you there's a secret perfect pace to a relationship so a man stays in love with you? What if I also told you without knowing that pace, you can easily ruin even the best relationship with the most amazing man? If that sounds horrifying to you, don't worry. On today's show, we're going to be discussing how to pace men so they stay in love with you. That way, you have a thorough strategy of not only how to get him to desire you, but how to keep him obsessed with you forever. Number one, think long term. Meaning, when you date a guy from the very beginning, you immediately have to be thinking 25 years down the road. And the reason I say that is because if you're not thinking about future you're going to go about this relationship all willy-nilly. You're going to allow things. You're going to do things just because it's fun, just because you're in the moment. And the reality of it is when you do that, down the line, you'll be like, oh, he's not treating me right. Oh, I don't like this. Then you come on my show and you're like, Tomisin, I have a million questions. Everything you say to do, I've done it wrong. How can I reverse it? And then we're trying to work backwards here. You're going for a long-term serious relationship. You're not only going for a long-term serious relationship with anyone though, you're going for a specific long-term serious relationship with the type of guy you're looking for. I'm not talking about just a physical type. I'm talking about your mental type, your spiritual type, someone that is aligned with you, especially on the core, most important morals and values of yours. Meaning the things that are the most important to you that you know you can't compromise on, those are the things that you need to be looking for in the men that you're dating, okay? And has a high level of interest in me. The reason I specify a high level of interest in you, because when you withdraw and he has a lot of interest in you, he will come seeking you out and he'll say, I apologize for what I did. I apologize for how I treated you, and I want to be better for you. Unfortunately, if you're dating a man who has a low level of interest in you, or for some of you, no real interest in you, you're going to be very frustrated because whenever I give you advice in the Players Club, or really anyone gives you healthy relationship advice, withdraw yourself. You don't need to be begging and pleading just to have him treat you right. You're going to be thinking, okay, then I'll do that. And then you're going to be asking me, hey, Tomisin, how come when I withdraw from this guy, hoping that he'll actually want to treat me right, he doesn't text me, doesn't message me, doesn't reach out to me. He just ignores me all the same and we never talk. And I'm going to tell you, well, unfortunately, that's because that guy never really had any interest in you in the first place. Or at least his interest in you wasn't high enough where he even cares if you don't talk to him anymore. Because I wanted you to understand the goal overall so that we can understand how you get there. Number two is going to be progression. Your relationship is meant to look like this. As the days go by, intensity goes up. So what does intensity really mean here? What do I really mean when I say intensity here? How much he wants to do for you, how much commitment he has towards you, how much consistency he has towards you, right? We want all of that to intensify over the course of the days and over the course of time, okay? What we don't want, okay, I'm gonna show you the graph that we don't want. We don't want a graph for you that goes like this. This is like a Disney princess graph, okay? Because the Disney princess graph, everything happens in the first 5 minutes. So this is 5 minutes in. You guys are already living together. You guys are already waking up together. You're cooking him breakfast. You're going to work from his place. You're telling him that you love him. He's telling you that he loves you. You guys are talking about marriage and kids and living happily ever after. And this is like the first 5 minutes of you guys meeting each other. And then you want to know what happens after that. As the days go by, the intensity decreases and decreases and decreases and decreases until you're 2 or 3 months down the road. And now your intensity is at an all-time low, basically where it should have been when you first started. And for some of you, you end up being in a position where the guy that is now, because some of you might be in this position right here, and this might be at this point, this might be your boyfriend. So at the point where this is your boyfriend, you're now saying to yourself, wait a second, you're my boyfriend, but I don't like how you do this. And I don't agree with you on this. And we don't see eye to eye on this. But you're realizing at this point that you don't really like the person he is. You don't really like how your relationship's going. You don't really like anything that's going on in this relationship overall. Specifically, this is what I want you doing. We're going to get into the nitty gritty. So take notes if you want to take notes now. So I'm going to separate this into 2 charts, right? So we're going to have first our talking stage, and then we're going to have exclusivity. let's start with the talking stage and how you want to be going about the timeline of the talking stage. So you meet this guy at, I don't know, in a work event. I don't even know. So your different factions of different work buildings are coming, and it's an event, and your friend invited you, and you're there meeting people, commingling, meeting some people, and you're meeting this guy. And now you meet this guy and you really like this guy, and he asks you out on a date to go out to a dinner spot, let's just say an Italian restaurant later that week. Okay, so now you started the process of talking to this guy. All right, so in this first month, in month number 1, you're gonna go on a maximum 1 date per week. There's a very, very specific reason for this, okay? In that first month that you're dating this man, you do not know him. He is a complete stranger. You don't owe him anything. He doesn't owe you anything. You guys have lives outside of each other. You also have no idea what's going on in his life when he met you. Some guys, unfortunately, some guys will ask you out on a date, whether it be from meeting you at an event, meeting you from mutual friends, meeting you at a party, meeting you from Hinge or Tinder or Bumble, and they will ask you out on a date, and you'll be thinking, oh, the natural occurrence is that you're asking me out on a date because you're completely single, you have no attachments or ties to anyone else, and you're open and are completely ready to be dating. Unfortunately, that's not always the case for every guy that you're going to date. There's actually multiple reasons why I don't want you doing more than 1 date per week, because I don't want you getting overstimulated and overexcited about this guy within that first couple of weeks, because that's the easiest time to get overly excited and overhyped about the guy that you're dating, okay? Or you're starting to talk to, let's say. And that is the easiest time in your relationship that you're building with this guy to become very delusional. And once you start that delusional pathway, once you start that delusional snowball rolling, and it gets rolling really fast, right? It's very, very difficult to stop. Then for the rest of the relationship, you want to believe in that delusion, and it only grows and grows and grows and grows until it's out of control and you can't even control your own actions anymore. Each and every date I specify is going to be a maximum of 2 hours. The 2 hours I'm referring to is 2 hours of in-person time, meaning when you go out on this date, so let's imagine this guy that you meet at that work event that asks you out, then you go out on this date together, and now you guys are on this date. I'm not including the time it takes you to get ready. I'm not including the time it takes you to get there. So if you guys decide to go to an Italian restaurant that's 1 hour away and you both have to drive there, I'm not including that time, okay? I'm also not including the time it takes for you to get yourself back from there. So when you're driving back 1 hour, obviously I'm not gonna be including that time. Even if for whatever reason he's picking you up, okay, I don't advise that on a very first date, but let's just imagine he's picking you up and he's driving you and him there. I still don't count that time. The time I'm referring to for the 2 hours is the time where you're in the place and in the setting that you're supposed to be, and you're in front of each other, actually able to have a conversation. Keep that to a maximum of 2 hours, nothing more. Okay? Very, very specific, especially in that first month. In that first month, I don't want you to deviate at all. So now we're in month number 2. You've done everything right so far. You're also going to keep the trend going. So now you're going to escalate it to a max of 2 dates per week for the same 2 hours. So remember, you don't want to make the mistake of making guys feel like they're not actually getting anywhere. We're treating this like a video game, meaning we're allowing the guys over the course of time that show you that they're serious with you, that show you that they actually want to invest in you emotionally, that they are going to be rewarded for that investment. Now, reward is not opening your legs and letting him jackrabbit himself inside of you. Reward is allowing him to have more access to you, okay? So now we're in month 3. You're now going on a max of 3 dates per week, okay? And now I know this is where a lot of you are gonna get stressed out. Clock is ticking. By month number 3, I'm expecting to be his girlfriend. Hold on, okay? Hold on. I want you to hold your horses. I want you to remain patient. And remember, you're progressing. Okay, you're progressing. The reward is not sleeping with you. The reward is access to you. So still, no dates are gonna go past the 2-hour mark. Even though you're going on 3 a week, and I know you're saying, Tomisin, 3 a week? Why don't I just do less than that and then make the dates really long? No, because what we're trying to do here, remember, is we're trying to increase the intensity over the course of time. And as he becomes exclusive to you, we want that intensity to take a jump, like a substantial jump. So we have to make sure in the talking stage there is a cap so that things don't get messed up. So this is what I want you to understand, all right? So now, because I'm sure some of you are wondering, what do I do if I'm not his girlfriend after month 3? Like, what's the strategy now? Actually, what happens is past 3 months, so 3 months plus, you're going to be doing the same thing. You're not going to change or increase any level of access to you. He will still only get you for the maximum of 3 dates per week for 2 hours each date. Why? Because anything past that, we're now going into territory where you'll no longer have anything to jump up to when you become exclusive. Remember, we're here with you thinking long term. We're not just thinking about having all the fun in one day. We're not just thinking about doing everything we possibly can in 1 week. We're pacing this so that you constantly still have more to give him over the course of time. And whether he's on a pace where he wants you to be his girlfriend in month number 3, or he wants you to be his girlfriend in month number 5 or 6 or 7, you still have more to give him, more access to give to him. Not as if on month number 3, he's already seeing you every day, and now you don't know what more to give him access to if he becomes your girlfriend, okay? Then you're kind of between a rock and a hard place. Now you're starting to think, well, in order for me to do more or give him more, I'm going to have to allow him to jackrabbit himself inside of me. We don't want that. Now, obviously, throughout this time in month number 3, you can allow him to see you less than the 3 dates, okay? So if it's going to equal 3 dates and then 6 hours, and then you're going to have the less than that amount of time, that's perfectly fine as well. All I'm saying is it's going to be a maximum of 3 dates per week for those 2 hours and those 3 days in the week. Okay, does that make sense to you guys? Let's go to exclusivity. Let's assume at this point, after a couple of months of you doing this, now it's been over 3 months that you've been doing this, he then asks you to be his girlfriend. There's still a pace required here. When you're dating in these first 3 months, split up these 6 hours that you have per week however you want. You want to then see him once a week, but you want to see him for 6 hours the one time you see him per week, perfect, you can do that. If you want to see him in some weird fashion where you do like 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours, and then one date 1 hour, fine, you can do that. But let's keep it at that balance for the first 3 months. The simple reason that I say that is because sometimes you can find yourself in a position where within the first 3 months, that can be a really rocky stage. In fact, let me say this, right? Because now you have escalated up to being exclusive. Let me even go back, because I know some of you are like, 6 hours, that's a lot. So I'll bump it up and I'll say 8 hours, just so at least there's a bump here of the total amount of time, okay? So the reason I want to say that is because, remember, we're progressing over the course of time, and now that you have passed and jumped into exclusivity, you can do an 8 hours a week. So if you want to, you can spend a whole day with him one time of the week, if you want to, and that will be your hangout. Or you can split it up over the course of days. I know that this sounds really painful and really, really slow. There's a reason for that. And I know that it's ultra slow and ultra seeming like this isn't intense at all. I know that. And I purposely am doing it this way and giving you this timeline so that the guy that you're dating can continue wanting more of you. The worst thing we want is to put you in a position where the guy that you're dating wants to see you and spend less time with you. As soon as you get in that place where he wants to spend less time with you, everything that we're working towards and trying to do for you and get you princess treatment is going to be out the window. We want him hungry for more of you. So we want to increase the amount he sees you, but we also don't want to satisfy him by making him feel like he sees you all the time to the point where he doesn't want to see you anymore, okay? After those 3 months of dating, this is where we can start to become a little bit more relaxed. Okay. Sometimes you might be sleeping over. Sometimes you might be here and you didn't plan. You want to stay at his house. Maybe you go to work from his house one day or something like that. Okay. So let's do this here. You get 1 sleepover per week, no more than 2 days. Is because anything more than that is going to go over the top. Once you go to 2 sleepovers per week, that's already going to be like 4 nights. And once you get into 4 nights per week, you're already spending your majority of your week with him. So there's not enough time away from you. I don't want you there all the time. I don't want him getting used to you like living in with him. Because remember, we're saving something for when things escalate. He still has to become your fiance. You guys still have to become married. And so you really, really need to make sure that you give him an opportunity you give yourself an opportunity to increase the amount of access he has to you. I know you really want to be sleeping over every day, and I know you want to see him and spend every second of your day with him. But unfortunately, we don't want you in that position so that your man can continue to be hungry for you. Remember, you haven't won, and the battle's not over when he makes you his girlfriend. The battle's over when he actually marries you. I shouldn't say over, but you have actually accomplished something when he actually marries you. So you have to understand you're still working towards something even in the process of dating him. We can combine the 1 sleepover per week, okay, with an additional, and you get 12 hours to allocate however you want to spend with him for the rest of the week. So if you want to batch that 12 hours over the course of the week and split them up evenly, you can do that. As long as you do not go anything over 7 days. In exclusivity, no every day. Even in exclusivity, we are not doing any everyday circumstances. He will not get the opportunity to see you every single day. I'm so serious about this. Do not make this mistake. This is your boyfriend, not your husband. You guys do not live together. You guys do not have children together. He does not get the privilege of seeing you every single day. You need to leave a day left of him not seeing you. Even if the other days you're only seeing each other for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours there needs to be a day where he doesn't see you, which is precisely why once we get to anything past 6 months, so 6 months marriage, max 6 days per week, he sees you. Such an important point that I gave you guys, an analogy I gave you guys is, remember, your dog is the most excited when you come walking through that door after you spent some time at work or going out or with your friends or with your family. Because when you go out that door, your dog has an opportunity to miss you and be waiting and anticipating the time where you're going to come back into that house. So we need to have that period where you walk back through that house and he can be like a happy, excited dog to see you come back through the door and be like, oh my God, I missed you so much since the last time that you were here. It was like agony. We need that to happen on a consistent basis. We can't have you there every single day where there's never an opportunity for him to say, okay, yeah, I actually missed you and I want to see you more. Okay. So this is very, very important. Okay. I know this is like a huge chart here. That's why I say take notes, screenshot this, however you want to do it so that you know how to do this properly. Because when your men in that position want to see more of you, that's when you get an opportunity to ask more of him. Because as soon as you ask more of him, he'll be like, sure, I want more of you. So anything you need from me so that I can get more from you, I will absolutely do that. You don't want to be in a position where you have no leverage and you have no bargaining power because you have no more access left to give him. So we're not going to dish out all your access in the first 7 days. We want to hold that back strategically so you still have cards left to play down the line. Okay, this is obviously a very in-depth strategy, but I promise you this is exactly what you need to keep men in the place that you want them to be. Okay. Point number 3, you have to stay strong. You cannot allow men in your life to convince you that because they like you so much and want to spend so much time with you and they're so in love with you and they can't see their life without you, that they can't bear the idea of seeing you this much and it needs to be more. and they need to hang out with you more, and they need to spend more time with you. And the 2 hours for twice every 2 weeks is just not going to work for him. He needs to see you 3 times. He needs to see you 4 times. He needs you to sleep over every night. Okay. You have to stay strong. And what I mean by stay strong is you even the guys that like you, there's going to be guys trying to manipulate you and you see you every day. And there's guys that are going to actually genuinely like you and want to see you every day. You have to understand, even the guys that are the nicest, kindest, and most genuine and sweethearted that asked to see you more and more and more, you have to tell them no. You have to tell them no, because guys are like children. They're asking you for candy and dessert, thinking to themselves, I love spending time with you. It's like candy to me. Oh, I feel so good. I get a sugar high. I get a rush. I get a sensation. I feel so alive when I spend time with you. I just need to spend more and more and more and more and more and more time with you. Like children who are begging for more and more candy. When you actually give that child all the candy that they're asking for, when you give them mounds of cake, mounds of chocolate, mounds of ice cream, they end up getting a stomach ache. They feel horribly. They throw up. They feel like garbage. And now they're all upset and angry and crying. But you gave them exactly what they asked for. And now that they've received it, they're not happy. So I say that to say, stay strong and realize that what's actually best for you and the man is for you to continue pacing yourself in the relationship. Because the reality of it is, nothing bad will ever come from you having a hungry man in your life. Don't get anxious thinking that when he complains, that means he's losing interest. When he complains, he's actually having anxiety of how much he's frustrated with how much he's liking you and wanting to pursue you. That process can be frustrating, but what comes from that process is actually very good things for you. Okay? Does that make sense? We want your guys hungry. We want your guys passionate. We want your guys in hot pursuit. We don't want them stagnant. We don't want them chilling. We don't want them relaxing and feeling like, oh, she'll be here when I come back around. I could talk to her whenever. She'll be available whenever. Who cares when I talk to her if I message her? None of this really matters. Number 4, let's talk about the timeline adjustments. There's a lot of understanding and learning to be done before you get to the point where you want to be sleeping with him. We don't want you in the process of pacing this relationship. We don't want you making the mistake of doing the order of operations backwards. You guys hear me talk about that a lot, okay? When people send in messages, you're doing the order of operations backwards. And what I mean by that is when you sleep with that guy, that should be like the final straw, the final ring, the final boss, where you finally say to yourself, okay, for the most part, I understand you, know what you're about. I have experienced you not just on a dinner date, but I've actually experienced you in many different situations. I've seen what you're like when you're angry, when you're stressed out, when you're happy, when you're sad, when you're going through family situations, when you're going through friend situations, when you're going through money situations. A lot of different circumstances of situations I've seen you go through in our relationship, and I've seen how you treated me or didn't treat me, how you respected me or disrespected me throughout that process. And then once you come to the conclusion that, okay, I see what you're like in all of these different situations, and I still like you and I still want to be in a relationship with you, then you commit yourself to that guy by saying, okay, now we can sleep together. And I know that I'm not going to wake up the next day after sleeping with you and I'm going to be like, damn, yours totally different from what I anticipated. So that's why I talk about the order of operations. We want, by the time you sleep with him, not for you to wake up the next day after sleeping with him super anxious, like, oh my God, maybe he doesn't like me anymore. Maybe he's not interested in me anymore. Maybe he's going to be a different person. Or you waking up and then now all of a sudden after you sleep with him, the next day when you wake up, you'll feel a totally different type of energy from him. And he's treating you differently. He's not as attentive to your needs. He doesn't care about you as much. He's not giving you princess treatment as much all of a sudden after you sleep with him. We don't want you in a position like that. We want you in a position where when you sleep with him, you're cool, calm, and collected, and you know that you slept with the guy that you anticipated you were sleeping with beforehand is the same guy that he is after, like Shy just said, post-nut clarity. You have to allow guys to show you that they even want to see you that much. So you got to make adjustments here. If you're on month number 3, and this guy is still only wanting to go on 1 date per week with you, then you can't be like, hey, we're supposed to be ramping it up here. Okay, we don't want that from you. We want you to be able to make adjustments based on where he's at with you. And if you start taking notice that, like, yeah, we're hanging out 1 day a week, but he doesn't even seem to want to date me more than that. We're on month number 3 now. I'm supposed to be able to do a maximum of 3 dates per week, but this guy only ends up dating me once every month or once every 2 weeks or once every 3 weeks. What's going on here? Now you have to start being able to make adjustments, number one, but also gauge, well, what's your level of interest here? Okay. Because part of pacing the relationship is not just, holding guys back and taking it slow and steady. It's also giving you an opportunity to gauge his level of interest. I always talk to you guys about gauging his interest, because you can't build a relationship or force yourself to build a relationship with a man who is not actually interested in you for real. Because you don't want to be in a position where you're pushing forward, trying to make this happen. And in the process of you trying to make this happen, he's pushing backwards and he's saying, yeah, I kind of like you, but I don't really like you enough to make you my girlfriend. Or, yeah, I like having fun with you, but I just like being friends with you, not enough to make you my girlfriend. So you're constantly going to be making adjustments and fitting whatever he wants out of you. Then you decide, is this going to work for me or not? So for example, if you're in a situation where 4 months down the line, you're still going on, he's only literally asking you to go on 1 date every 2 weeks and you're 4 months in now you have to start making some adjustments and some decisions. Hey, am I going to cut this off here? Because if this pace is not even increasing at all, or he's not even trying to increase this pace after a while, like he has no more desire for me, more desire to see me more than just once every 2 weeks, and we're 4 months in, now you have to start saying to yourself, either I'm going to kind of take back some of the access I was going to give him so that I can kind of understand where we're really at. Or you have to start saying to yourself, maybe this is time for me to probably take a step away from this relationship, okay? Number 5 is the idea of maintenance. Think of this like the threshold in which, where he really, would love to meet you at and see you all the time and spend all this time with you. You want to be making sure that you constantly meet him just below that threshold. Meaning that you're never going to actually give guys all the access to you that they want. You're always going to meet them just below that so that they continue to say, I wish it was here. I wish it was here. Because from there, they're going to say, okay, I want to do more, so hopefully I can get it to there. They're going to have something to look forward to. So you constantly are going to be operating below that threshold. So your maintenance is understanding, do you still want more? Do you still need more? Are you still asking for more? That is your maintenance, that you continue to make sure there's still a need for more. And the other part of your maintenance is making sure you're still taking time for you. Because when you're pacing guys, we don't want you so anxious that you start saying to yourself, F whatever Tomisin was saying, I want to see him every single day, so I'm going to spend every single day that I possibly can with him. I love this guy, and I feel like this is my Disney princess movie, and this is the guy that I've been looking for. So forget what he said, forget his notes, forget his advice. I'm going to sleep in his bed every day. I'm going to make the bed. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to cook him breakfast. I'm going to go to work from his place. I'm going to come back to his place. I'm going to cook him dinner. I'm going to be like his wife, and I'm going to do everything all in the first week. It's a grave mistake, and you will suffer and be punished for your mistake. I'm not going to punish you. The universe and the man that you're with is going to punish you, because you're going to be down the line wondering, oh, I should have maintained the strategy here, and I shouldn't have just lost my mind because I became anxious, which is why I say maintenance is also managing your own personal anxiety. Because remember, as time goes on and you like the guy more because you have feelings as well, this is obviously you're going to have feelings. As you have more feelings for him and you like him more, you're always also going to be thinking, oh, I want more time with him. I would love to spend more time with him. This guy that I like and I want to be with is begging me for more time with him. And it's going to feel so natural for you to say, I just want to say yes, Thompson. I want to say yes so badly. Why can't I say yes more? I like this guy so much. But you have to understand, for your long-term happiness, for the long term of your relationship with him, you want to keep progressing. So sometimes you gotta say no. A lot of times you gotta say no for the future of the relationship and the benefit of the relationship so that he can continue wanting you more. You gotta say no sometimes.